Hello, welcome to Bryant Wilson Coffee, and I'm Bryant, otherwise known as Panama B7. You can find me on Instagram by that handle. Today is Saturday, June the 26th, and I'm very happy to be roasting today. Today I'm going to roast first some Colombian Supremo, and I purchased it from Fresh Roasted Coffee LLC on Amazon. Go check them out. Okay, they got some really good products. They got green coffee beans and they've got roasted coffee as well. You're gonna like them, trust me. And if you don't like Amazon, then you can go online. You can check out battleborncoffee.com, and they roast in small batches, a micro roaster in Arizona. But hey, he's a good guy. All right, so now I wanted to tell you that I'm going to roast the Colombian Supremo today by hand. Here's my hand roaster. Because of my camera setup right now, I've got one camera. I'm going to be off camera. You're not going to see my face, but you will hear the voiceover, or actually my voice while I'm actually doing this. And so I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing. You will be able to do your own roast, a small batch, by hand. If you watch this video and follow my steps, you'll be able to do the same thing if you choose to. If not, you just want to see what's going on, hey, I appreciate it. And I want you to hit like, that's the thumbs up button. Hit subscribe for me, all right? Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to be back in a second, and I'm going to start my roasting. All right, welcome back to Bryant Wilson Coffee. As you just saw in the intro, I'm doing a roast today, and the roast is going to be a Colombian Supremo. And the first thing that we're going to do when we're roasting, first let me tell you about this hand roaster. This is ceramic, okay? As you can see, it's got a little grid design imprinted in the bottom of it. I don't know if that does anything for the roasting or not, but it's there, okay? And it's made in Korea. It's called Nuvo. I got this off of Amazon. I think I paid $20 or $25 for it, okay? I think it was available with Prime shipping as well, okay? I got the nice tan leather grip on here, but I'm going to tell you, you will need some gloves in order to handle this, okay? I've got one for each hand because you want to switch up hands. At least I want to switch up my hands as I'm doing this. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is preheat this. And I want my preheat to go, I want this to preheat to about 300 degrees. We actually might go a little higher than that. I might go to 350. Right now I'm at 87 degrees. As you saw, I just turned the gas on. It heats up pretty fast. The static room temperature is probably about 75 to 79 degrees. It heats up pretty fast. There's nothing in there, okay? All right, so we're at 135 now. A couple of more seconds, it'll be up over 200. What I want to tell you first off, this is what I'm roasting, Colombian Supremo, and this is from Fresh Roasted Coffee LLC. I got this off of Amazon, $35.99 I think it was. For a 5-pound bag. That's what it was back in April when I purchased it. It might have gone up, it might have gone down by now. This is grown at 1,600 to 2,000 meters, okay? And it's grown in Colombia. Can't remember the name of the place. I'll put it in the description of the video if I can remember. What I'm starting off with is, I'm starting off with 100, and I've got 115 grams of the unroasted beans there. We're going to start off with that. When you're starting your roast, the temperature that you preheat this at is very important. What's going to happen is when I put the beans in there, they're going to absorb the heat really fast. As they absorb that heat, I'm going to apply more heat so that I can get the temperature up really fast to what I need for drying. Okay, now we're at 378. Okay, it heated up really quick. So here go my beans in here right now. 378, this is called a charge. 378 is a good charge temperature, especially since we're only going to roast to a medium roast. Okay, now I'm going to go in depth in a later video and give you all of the mechanics that I've learned about roasting. And the important thing to remember right now is that what we want to do is keep these beans moving inside this little roaster here. Okay. Temperature right now with the beans on it is 130, 126, 23 degrees. And that's at the bean at the top. The beans on the bottom of it are a little warmer. As I move this around, it keeps the beans moving around so that the ones on the bottom don't get scorched. Okay? So that's very important. The other important thing is that you have this time. And let me just set my timer right now. Okay, about a minute has gone by. I'm looking for about a 12-minute roast to reach a medium. That might be expecting a lot. I probably won't hit that mark exactly where I want, when I want, because I'm recording and talking at the same time. I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, but this is my first time roasting and recording for immediate publication. So I hope that your Saturday has been going well. Mine is going really well. Earlier I had a live Instagram live with Hoon of Hoon's Coffee. That was fun. Brad from Battleborn Coffee joined us. And that was really fun. I learned a lot from Brad about his Alio Bullet coffee roaster. And I'm thinking about purchasing one of those pretty soon, a couple of months. And it'll really be a step up from hand roasting. One of the things that I do like about hand roasting, however, is that because I'm using very small batches, 100 to 150 grams a batch at a time, I'm able to experiment with some of the temperatures and whatnot and try and learn what the different profiles would bring out in the bean in terms of flavor and all of that. So what I'm looking for right now, one of the flavor profiles of this Colombian Supremo is honey and cherry. And then you might also pick up some chocolate in that as well. And that's what I'm looking for. A little chocolatey taste, some honey, which was present in the last batch that I did, the first batch that I did. This is only the second batch that I've roasted of the Colombian Supremo. Okay, the first turned out really well and I was really happy with it. We're at 262 now. I'm trying to get this temperature up over 300 as fast as possible because I want to keep a very short roast time. I don't want the beans to bake, okay? And what that means basically is that when we say the beans are baked, that basically means that it's going to give you a chalky kind of flavor profile, something that you don't really want. You'll have dull flavors. They won't be bright. Your cup won't be juicy. You don't want that. You want a very lively, very flavorful coffee. And in order to produce that, you have to make sure that your roast times are, I'm not going to say they're, really, really short, but they have to be, they can't be long. Okay. So if you find that your roasting time is like 20 minutes, you might want to check out what you're doing and make some critical adjustments to that, because that's pretty long for any variety of bean from everything that I've learned so far. And I don't claim to know a lot about it. I'm just beginning. But I do know that you do not want a very long roast time, okay? So what I'm doing now is starting to produce some smell. You can't, obviously you won't know that what I'm smelling, but I'm going to tell you that it's like a grass outside when it burns. Okay, so that's what I'm starting to pick up now. It's like cut grass, and you might even say burned grass. So when you cut your grass on a really hot, sunshiny summer day, or if you have a grass fire in your backyard or something, that's kind of what I'm picking up now. And what is actually happening, and I'm sorry I can't position the camera so that you can see it, but what's actually happening is the color of the beans are changing from that green that you saw. It's changed to a light brown color, like a straw color. And that's got some yellows in it. You know, everyone can't pick up colors the same. To me, yellow, you know, this shade of yellow looks brown. Some people might say, yeah, that's a yellow. So, you know, it's not, you don't want to be too critical about what color it is, you know, if it's brown or yellow. Obviously, if it is as it starts to approach a roast of a medium, it's going to get a deeper brown tone to it, more of an earthy colored brown rather than a wood tone tan. So as you move through those different shades of brown, just be aware of it, because at a point you're going to reach a shade that's going to be just a little bit above milk chocolate. You want to probably take it to the milk chocolate. And this is, I'm speaking specifically for Colombian Supremo. You probably want to take it to a milk chocolate, not a dark chocolate, but a milk chocolate. And that's going to leave you a lot of lively flavors. But you definitely do not want to stop before first crack while it is still that light straw colored tan. That's not going to give you the flavor that you want. It also would be very difficult to grind that in most consumer grade grinders. As you get up into the more expensive grinders, they could probably handle a very, very light roast. But again, we're going to get into deeper into roasting when I go into the roasting series. So what's happened now is I should be approaching first crack. I'm starting to get some smoke. The brown has changed from that tan straw color and is starting to approach a very, very, very light milk chocolate color. You can just see that starting to develop. And let me check the bean temperature. We should be at about 340 degrees right now. 366. So we're a little bit past that, which is fine. I'm not going to turn the temperature, the gas down before we reach first crack. We're at 3 minutes, 4 minutes, because I waited a minute before I started the timer. So we're at about 4 minutes right now. So in about another 60 seconds to 80 seconds, we should have first crack. That should be coming right at about 6 minutes. I've got some outliers now, so that's the first crack outliers. But we're waiting for a steady crack. I hope you can hear it over the fan. I've got a few more outliers. Now we're starting first crack. Okay, and I'm sorry, I was looking at that timer wrong, and we're at about 8 minutes now. So for my more of a stopwatch, I guess you'd say. Okay, and you may have seen that piece of chaff. Not that was a bean, but you may have seen a light piece of chaff float up, like that just floated up. That's the skin coming off of the bean as the bean expands and breaks the skin. And the skin is very light and just kind of floats up. That's called chaff. There's my 10-minute timer going off. That's giving me a 1 minute warning. Now, we're probably at 10 minutes right now from where I started the timer. It should be at 10 minutes. I'm at 408 degrees. I'm not going to go much over 400 degrees. And this is going to be a medium roast. All right, I'm going to drop this. Getting ready to drop it. I'm going by visual. Okay. And you see I removed it from the heat. So it's off of the heat source, but it is still roasting because there's a lot of heat retained in this roasting, this hand roaster, the ceramic. Okay, here we go. I'm going to drop it. That oven mitt is getting really hot. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's what it looks like right now. Okay, I've got to stop the video, and what is going to happen, I'm going to cool this. Okay, so as you saw, the roasting doesn't take very long. When you actually think about how much time that takes compared to what you get out of it, it doesn't take very long at all. Even if you take a full 15 minutes for 100 grams, you could do 4 of those and use up only 1 hour out of your day, out of the whole week. And then you're going to have enough coffee probably for one person. 400 grams might last you 2 weeks. So it really is worthwhile, in my opinion, to roast your own coffee. If you're talking about a small amount, and if you're going to reach some level of competence in doing it. What happened at the end of the roast, as I had to shut the camera off, I went ahead and took the beans that were poured into that strainer. I put them over a fan, and that, over the course of about 3 or 4 minutes, cooled the beans down from the roast temperature that they reached, I think was 418 degrees. It cooled them down to below 130 in about 4 minutes. And then I transferred them out of that strainer into a large stainless steel bowl. That allowed it to pull the rest of the heat out of them pretty quickly. So within 10 minutes, they were back around 85 degrees. And I transferred them from that bowl into the air escape canister, which is an airtight canister. You put the plunger into the canister and you leave the valve open so that the gases, the CO2 gases, can escape from the beans over the next several days. There's a lot of division over whether or not you need to allow the coffee to degas 24 hours or whether you need to allow it to degas 10 days. I tend to favor the longer period of degassing. So if I was not completely out of beans right now, I would probably be waiting at least until next Saturday before I go ahead and even pull a shot with them. As it stands, I'll probably pull a couple of shots Monday or Tuesday and let the beans set. And I might go online and order some beans from one of the online roasteries just to tide me over the next several days if I can get them back fast enough. But the important thing to remember when you're doing this hand roasting that I just did, well, one of the important things to remember, it's going to be quite messy because when you do your drop and you hold your beans over, a fan or, whether you're standing there stirring them in the colander or whatever, device that you're using, to cool them, you're going to have a lot of chaff come off of those beans, and that chaff is going to go everywhere. I mean, once it gets into the air, it's just going to float and it's going to land everywhere. It's going to be on your table, on your stove, on your floor. So, you know, I keep a tablecloth over my table most of the time. I just take that outside and shake it a couple of times to get the chaff off of it, and then I'm good to go. As far as getting it off of the floor, you know, it depends on what kind of floor you have. You know, you might have to resort to using a vacuum. But the mess that's created with it, you know, to me, that's just something that you have to deal with. Would I rather be using a automated roaster like the Alio Bullet? Yes, I would. And I fully intend to purchase one. But those things are not cheap. I mean, that's an investment that you're making. So you have to be certain that this is the route that you want to go. A lot of people are going to be satisfied with buying from a micro roaster, and there are some really good ones out there. I mentioned, you know, a couple of them at the beginning of the broadcast. Battleborn Coffee, you know, you've got another one, Black Rifle Coffee Company. You've got Black City Roasters, or Black City Coffee. She's out of Southern California, I think. And so you've got a lot of good micro roasters around. And of course, you got big roasteries like Mill City. So, you know, it depends on what route you want to go. For myself, I'm more satisfied doing it myself. But like I said, you know, there's only so much you can do with that little hand roaster right there. And if you really want to get full enjoyment, then you need something that's coming out of a professional level machine. So, you know, but that's my video on hand roasting. You know, this is the first, I'm going to do a series, and I will not always be at the stove roasting. I won't always be at the espresso bar, you know, standing over the machine. Sometimes I'll just be sitting here, and I'm going to go over a lot of information with you and give you some of the information that I've learned about this enjoyment that I have. It's called coffee. So I hope you like the video, and you know, coffee can be a hobby, you know, it can be a business. It's up to you. And I just hope that you enjoyed the journey with me. I want to get to the point where, you know, you feel like we're just having a conversation about coffee. And that's when I'm really going to be satisfied that my content is reaching where I want it to go. All right. Thank you.
Grab our kids and we take off outside looting everything in the room.